Hello， 我哋而家就啱啱到咗 COP27 嘅會場，都拎咗張證，咁我哋就準備入場啦。好啦，一陣間見啦，拜拜。
咁咧呢條就係其中一條 COP 會場嘅 main road 啦，係啦，咁咧就好長嘅。咁通常咧，如果你要揾地方咧，喺我右手邊咧，呢度就係入口處一入嚟嘅第一個 block 啦，就會有晒埃及啊、UN 啊最大嘅 pavilion 啦。咁然之後左手邊呢邊咧，就係我哋俗稱，即係我哋叫 Area C 啦，就會有其他好多唔同嘅 pavilion 嘅。呢一啲嘅 pavilion 咧，會有唔同嘅單位去主辦啦，有一啲係 NGO， 有啲係國家，有啲係 business 公司，亦都有一啲咧係聯合國組織或者一啲國際性跨政府嘅組織嘅。係啦，咁每一日每一分鐘咧都有唔同嘅活動發生緊啦。呢一度睇嚟就係有兩位朋友做緊 sharing 啦，會有一啲人自己喺度傾偈開會啦，會有一啲最新嘅知識、最新嘅技術分享。喺我哋每一日喺度2個星期咧，其實就 keep 住得行到腳都跛嘅。咁呢個咁大嘅 COP 咧，為我哋帶嚟咗啲咩新嘅嘢咧？咁其實亦都有好多新嘅 pavilion， 好多新嘅攤檔啦。咁包括今年第一個係咁耐以嚟第一個 Children and Youth 嘅 pavilion 啦，係俾咗由青少年同埋兒童咧去主導去一個主場啦，去發出佢哋嘅聲音嘅。咁第二個亦都好特別嘅 pavilion 咧，就係 Climate Justice 氣候公義嘅 pavilion 啊。咁其實呢兩個嘅 pavilion 嘅誕生咧，都睇到今年 COP 咧係好着重青年嘅參與啦，同埋好着重或者好想擺佢哋嘅重點咧喺 Climate Justice 氣候公義度嘅。咁再講多少少 Children and Youth Pavilion 啦，佢亦都成為咗一個各國嘅代表咧，會去同青年交流嘅好地方嘅。每一日每一個鐘，基本上你都會喺嗰度撞到咧唔同國家嘅高層嚟到呢一個 Area D Fund Negotiations 同埋 Meeting 嘅 block 嘅地區啦。咁一如以往啦，呢度都仲有好多人嘅。有呢一個我覺得好值得加佢嘅窩啦。我而家就行緊去我哋 Open Pantry 嗰一間嘅房啦。呢個咧就係 Pantry Ramsey 嘅門口啦。
Friends, we are not currently on a pathway that keeps 1.5 in reach. And whilst I do understand that leaders around the world have faced competing priorities this year, we must be clear, as challenging as our current moment is, inaction is myopic and can only defer climate catastrophe. We must find the ability to focus on more than one thing at once. How many more wake-up calls do world leaders actually need? A third of Pakistan underwater, the worst flooding in Nigeria in a decade. This year, the worst drought in 500 years in Europe, in 1,000 years in the US, and the worst on record in China. The cascading risks are also clear. Entire economic sectors becoming unsustainable and uninsurable, entire regions becoming unlivable, and the strain on the global movement of goods and the pressure of people to relocate because of the climate crisis becoming almost unimaginable. So this conference must be about concrete action. And I hope that when the world leaders join us today, they will will explain clearly what their countries have achieved during the last year and how they will go further.
今年嘅 Presidents Implementation 即係落實執行啦。咁我哋都見到好多嘅 negotiation， 好多嘅國家討論咧，都係講緊一啲可能 working group 嘅細節啊，或者佢哋嘅一啲章程，甚至乎係一啲 loss and damage fund 一啲唔同嘅基金，究竟會點樣去做啦？點樣可能係分配啦，或者點樣去 assess 嗰個需要嘅。
好有幸啦，可以代表 Yango 咧去做一個 intervention 嘅。咁嗰個活動咧就係其實係一個 intergenerational 嘅policy dialogue。咁在場咧其實都有好多唔同國家嘅代表啦。
As an urban planner and youth climate advocate, I struggle to implement high-level goals for policies adopted at COP or other UN advocacy processes at the local and community level. There is a huge gap and lack of understanding from local authorities as well as sometimes civil societies about these goals, and does not prioritize developments for climate adaptation, resilience, and loss and damage. This makes it very hard for local practitioners like me to implement these plans and projects. This demonstrates the importance and relation of ACE into these global adaptation and national adaptation plans. How can we ensure that high-level policy is translated at a local level through ACE strategies and to ensure youth can be directly involved at the decision-making table? Thank you.
咁咧，其實喺 COP 咧，我主要就係 focus on 兩個議題啦。第一個咧就係講氣候適應，第二個咧就係講 global stocktake。咁可能有啲朋友仔唔係好知道其實氣候適應同埋 global stocktake 係啲乜嘢啦。咁我都好快脆咁樣咧就解釋俾大家知嘅。咁氣候適應咧，主要就係我哋有極端天氣啦，因為喺氣候變化嘅情況底下，咁而每個嘅城市啦或者地區咧都需要有一啲嘅措施咧去適應呢一啲嘅氣候變化所帶嚟嘅後果啦。咁然後 global stocktake 咧其實就係指因為每個國家咧其實佢哋都有唔同嘅議程，亦都有喺氣候變化入邊咧亦都有好多唔同嘅進展啦。咁所以其實 global stocktake 咧就係攞嚟俾唔同嘅國家啦去報告翻其實佢哋嘅進程去到邊度啦。咁所以大家咧就 ensure 大家係 on the same page 嘅。咁我其實都參加咗唔同嘅活動啦。咁有可能有 round tables， 有 World Cafe。咁大致上呢兩樣嘅活動咧都比較上係好互動性比較強嘅。咁主要就係可能有一大班嘅唔同嘅持份者啦，咁就會坐埋一齊，咁就針對某一個嘅議題，然後對由呢一個議題咧都有條問題啦，咁就針對住嗰一個問題咧去提供自己嘅一啲嘅 ideas 或者嘅諗法啦。咁我嗰陣時咧亦都係講好多喺氣候適應方面嘅，咁我亦都好把握呢一個機會咧去嘗試去同唔同嘅嚟自國家唔同嘅代表啦，去嘗試講下其實青年嘅角色喺氣候適應入邊咧係可以做到乜嘢？其實青年係咪淨係可以俾教育咧？係咪淨係可以 capacity building 咧？唔係嘅，其實青少年或者 youth 啦，其實佢哋係可以再進一步咧去成為政府或者國家同地區之間嘅一個橋梁。因為其實佢哋係有一啲嘅技能，佢哋係識到當地嘅一啲語言，所以其實咧佢哋會比一啲國家嘅層面啦，佢更加知道其實地區係發生緊啲咩事。咁所以其實我都將呢一個嘅 examples 啦，同埋呢一個嘅諗法咧，都喺個會議上面咧去提出啦。
咁大家成日講究竟 COP27 有咩咁特別啦？最特別嘅咧就係佢今年喺非洲國家埃及度搞啦。我哋成日都話呢個係一個 African COP 啦。咁所以我哋都期望，甚至乎 Presidents 一開始咧已經講話呢個 COP 會好 focus 喺 loss and damage， 即係損失與損害。佢好希望咧，藉住呢一個 COP 喺佢哋自己地方搞嘅 COP 咧，去話俾世界各地聽，其實非洲嘅人受緊氣候變化嘅影響啦。
It is keeping children from the classroom and forcing their families to move. The climate crisis is not robbing them of their futures. It is robbing them of their present. It is robbing them action. We need true leadership from our leaders, and we need you to do something about this. We need our leaders to listen to the most affected people, to the most affected areas.
好，今日我哋揾到一位嚟自島國嘅朋友啦，係啦，咁佢哋嚟到 COP 嘅demand 同埋佢哋嘅訴求係啲乜嘢咧？因為佢哋講緊其實而家呢一個氣候變化咧係影響緊佢哋嘅係生死攸關嘅關頭，咁所以我哋好高興可以聽下佢哋嘅demand and ask. So, hi, this is Hu Cheng from Hong Kong. We would like to know what's the biggest demands from your country or like you from your country, and what if this demand is not being met? What's gonna happen?
Hello everybody, my name is Grace Malia and I am representing one of the youth delegates from Tuvalu. My main message and my main demand is loss and damage. Loss and damage. World leaders, international leaders do take responsibility and accountability of the actions that you've taken. Because of what you've done, greenhouse gas emissions have increased. We are trying to stay within the 1.5 degrees stance that we are doing, and if we do not take responsibility, we are already sinking. We are sinking. Our nation is gonna. We are talking about years. We're not talking about centuries. It's not a long run. It's a short run. We're gonna lose our nation within a few years, and if you do not take responsibility.
Save my justice now. People gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis now. Like you, what do we want? What do we want? Say what do we want? What do we want? Now.
United, we'll never be defeated. I want to see changes in a positive and impactful way. As it is the COP of implementation, let those discussions do not continue in these closed spaces. Let it be an inclusive COP going forward. Let the financing channel down to solutions which are known to communities, and let there be little or no condemnation, for the better of lack word, but this shrinking space and women not having space or sitting in the table of discussion, why they have solutions, why they know the solution, they've been paving the way the years, that needs to end. Let it come to reality of what can be done and how it can be done by bringing the knowledge of women and people in African continent, because we are facing these challenges and we know how best collectively we can come up with solutions.
聽過好多真係今次因為係 African COP 嘅關係咧，好多喺 Africa 嘅 youth 咧，又或者 Africa 嘅人啦，即係都 able to attend。咁所以有好多 side events 都係 around 呢一班人咧去做好多 sharing 嘅。咁當然除咗佢哋都有好多 indigenous group 啦。咁佢哋有分享佢哋嘅故事啦，有一啲好 motivational 嘅 speech 啦，有啲好強調個 urgency 啦，因為佢哋其實佢哋自己嘅屋企已經 suffer 緊啦。咁所以即係聽咗好多唔同嘅故事之後，就會即係都會令自己諗，其實之後返香港可以做啲乜嘢啦。啲咩想打返去 ？OK。我希望咧，因為我真係聽咗好多Global South 嘅故事嘅，咁我覺得咧，佢哋喺啲咁艱難嘅環境咧，可以做咁多嘢，其實係真係好佩服，即係不論係政府啦、NGO 啦，又或者係一啲只係 youth 啦，佢哋都會用自己嘅身份去貢獻翻佢自己嘅國家去 fight against climate change 咯，咁。Uganda 嗰個女仔 Vanessa 咧，咁佢個 speech 係好 motivational 嘅，即係佢都係好強調個 urgency， 即係而家就要做啦，我哋等唔到個 loss and damage 嘅 facility， 可能係幾年後先 set up 啦，要而家即刻有啦。咁所以我都會覺得其實。我覺得香港係 sense 唔到個 urgency 咯，即係見唔到，即係肉眼見唔到我呢度水浸晒啊，又乾旱啊，成，所以大家都冇呢個 urgency， 但係會好想分享翻俾香港嘅人聽，其實呢個世界係發生緊咁多嘢，即係佢之後其實下一個就係你㗎啦，即係大家都避無可避。
So here as Hong Kong delegates, we are also asking for our governments, even as a small city, to contribute to the financial pool tackling international climate problems. So thank you, and we hope we can work together for all people on this planet.
Enough with words. Let it be solutions which are seen and no more paperwork.
係，咁我覺得今次嘅經驗真係好寶貴啦。咁除咗係一個學習嘅經驗之外，可能我會將即係我喺 COP 度嘅所見所聞啦，係 share 翻俾香港嘅青年人之外呢，其實我覺得都要係俾香港嘅青年人一啲嘅信心，就係其實即使好似我一個好平凡嘅青年人啦，其實我都係可以能夠係去 voice out， 都可以踏出嘅一步去試嘅。即係就算唔係參加 COP， 但係可能譬如係 Yango 咁樣呢一個嘅呢一個嘅 group 入邊咧，其實你都有好多嘅角色係可以扮演啦，有好多嘢都可以做。
You ask what young people can do, and I'll identify 3 things. 1, in your own lives, be climate champions. It doesn't take, you don't have to be a superstar or an influencer to take action on climate change. In your own lives, in your own communities, in your own families, in your own organizations, be advocates for climate. Secondly, hold your leaders accountable. Hold your leaders accountable, your political leaders, your business leaders, your civil society leaders, hold them accountable. And third, despite what people might say about you, get involved in decision making and policy making. Get intimately involved in your local government.